tattoo fucking shit thing on.
What is that?
That's Maori tattoos.
That's your wife?
No, Maori.
That's your wife's name is Marie.
No, Maori, not Maori. Maori is the indigenous people. That's the South Polynesian Pacific Island fucking tattoos and shit.
Okay, so you're talking about Mari, not Mari.
You just said the same thing.
You just said the same thing. What's your wife's name?
Maori.
What's that?
Maori.
It's
Maori.
It's funny accent, right?
Maori.
You
Maori. Oh, hello, guys.
Don't
Hey,
freak
need to pay
out, guys.
attention.
It's not Thursday. It's actually only 6 days
Hey,
since the last time
Tavo.
we did this.
Abbott Costello.
Oh man, let's push
Well, we
this back
try.
a little bit.
We try.
Okay, is that better? I think it's better. Ooh, much better. See, that's the adjustment
That's
I would
why they
expect
pay
from
me
you,
them,
brother. Man.
don't
That's
they?
why you get paid the big bucks, and I'm just a simple, humble YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. You know, they say those who can't do YouTube. You know.
How's the weather, Perry Ford? The weather's actually nice.
It's gorgeous.
Cooling way down, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Let's see.
What do we got? Dallas and Shane are on. That's cool.
No, Tom, I said hi. I know they have. I have no choice. We have to do this on Wednesdays because I have dog stuff on Thursdays, and my dog.
There's only so many nights a week, isn't there?
There's only so many nights a week.
What you gonna do?
I
Spider Garage. Hi, Uncle Tony's Garage.
Boom, baby, boom, 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 boom.
Tony and Kiwi have their days mixed up. It's Friday, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. So, what's new and exciting, Kiwi?
What's new and exciting?
What's happened since the last time we did this?
What's happened? Fired up that black Mustang.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, got the 427 fired up.
You didn't invite me.
I didn't think to.
I don't have to rebuild the carburetors or anything?
No, they're golden. Like, just cranked it over, and it kicked back, too far advanced.
Right.
Gave it like, a bit of a turn to retard it.
Okay.
Boom, straight to life.
Surely.
And that was fuel to one carburetor. We just thought, we'll see if it'll fire, mate. See if it's gonna, at least try.
Right.
And we just had fuel to one carburetor, and the other one was dry, and it just started up and ran, like ticked over at a couple of thousand RPM, and was.
But surely it must need some sort of adjustment that I.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you could come over and fettle it a little bit for me.
Okay. Yeah. I want to feel needed,
But no, I've just been, doing all the other little loose ends, like giving it an accelerator pedal and brake pedal and superfluous stuff like that.
I've never used the word superfluous in a like I've thought the word superfluous, but I've never actually used it. I think that's the first time it's come out of my mouth.
There you go. See, your horizons are expanding.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks to that like the intercontinental kind of mixturing of.
What's with all the boom baby stuff? Did we miss something?
I don't know. Was that the same? Big wrench. I don't know. It's the 427 and FE engine. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Well, the 427 Ford.
Well, the 427 Ford. The one I'm talking about is the FE. Yeah.
Yes. Did Ford have any non? Wait. I know there were three. Okay, there's a Ford 427 option, a Chevy 427. Wasn't there? No. I just imagined that there is no other 427. What do you guys think of the 41 Willys? I bet you he pronounces it funny.
No, Willys.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Dickie Farley. Don't have a Kiwi emoji. I suck a lemon in a good way. Well, okay. With a Corona, that'd be good. $10. Someone's already giving you $10.
Look at this. I'm raking in the big bucks already, bro.
You're raking it in.
All right.
Why would you?
And I'm leaving you in the dust as far as likes go.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Kind of getting used to that now.
What would you pay for a running, driving 72 Coronet? I have a 72 Coronet. I love that car.
Slant 6 Auto, Little Rust, complete interior. Have an opportunity to pick one up. The guy wants $3,800. Thoughts?
Running, driving, yeah, bro. I would jump on it because I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the nicest daily. I feel okay. So Bottle Rocket, I feel bad because it was a complete car, right? And I butchered it in the name of like trying to go fast with the thing. It's a shame because they make fantastic cars. Like it's for a daily driver type of car, you're just not going to find anything that's more comfortable and stable and happy and just. I would dive all over it and don't modify it, man. Just leave it alone. Just enjoy it the way it is.
Fair enough. What have we got here? Sam, is a Ford 351M worth playing with? Now, the 351N, is that the same as a Cleveland?
No,
Because we didn't have M's like in Aussie. I don't think they were always 351
no, it's
Cleveland.
it's a deviation of the Windsor. Somebody out there knows more than either of us do, and they will jump in there.
Because the 400 is an M, isn't it? They talk about 400 M's.
Right.
So
I don't know what the M stands for. You'd think I would know these things, but I don't. Or I do, and it's just buried behind like 10,000 other bits of trivia that.
Roland Young, Tony, have you gone back to the original paint by sanding off an old respray? What is the best method to save the original paint? Patina, okay. Gloss not needed.
He's the guy you want to ask about that.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a horrible amount of work to actually try and sand off the repaint without sanding through the original paint. That's not something I'd choose to tackle. I don't know how. You can but try, I guess, but you're taking on a mountain of work, because to really get the paint off in any kind of respectable time, you've got to use a pretty heavy grit, and before you know it, you'll be through and you'll be scratching the original paint. So to sneak up on it with a fine grit on a whole car,
yeah, that has to be a labor of love that you're just going to.
You're talking about weeks, man.
Yeah,
weeks of sanding, and I don't know that your patience would, certainly mine wouldn't, but I can't speak for you, but it's more patience than I've got.
Okay, you want to make it a daily? Yep, there you go, man. It's the perfect daily.
Sure, I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace this last week, and there's a bunch of like 66, 67 Dodges and Plymouths, like four-door sedans.
Yeah.
Like just for sale. Like, I don't know where they all suddenly came from at the same time.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know what that's about. Yeah, there's probably three of like 366s and 367s.
I went to look at an XJ yesterday down in Lawrenceburg.
Two's not enough?
Nah, well, it was cheap. It was $850.
Right.
And it had the lift kit and all that. And I was like, okay, dirt toy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Had a blown motor. So it's no big deal. I got enough shit here to put a motor together. So I ran down there to look at it, and the guy says, oh, it has a little rust. Okay? So I looked at it, and yeah, it's got a little rust. And then I climbed underneath it. Right? And there's literally no floor, front to back. The only thing holding the interior in the truck was the carpet.
Oh, jeez.
I passed. I thought I'd give you $500 for it. And no.
Some of those cars, though, if they're free, they're too expensive.
Yeah, well, I told him, I says, it's a 3-hour tow. That's worth more than this truck is.
Right. Now, Tavo, what did you do? Tavo, I did it with an Aussie Charger. Used one of those abrasive sponges to sand off the pressure pack respray. It definitely came up very patina.
Yeah, that's what they used to call me in junior high school.
What, patina?
Abrasive sponge. Yeah, my teachers used to. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, Zero's here. Fubar is here.
Fubar. Hey guys.
I didn't see
Stray
Aaron.
Bullet. A Jag rear end is just as good of a hot rod rear end choice as it was 50 years ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, except that they don't grow on trees.
No.
You're going to spend a lot of money on a Jag rear. Is it the center section of a Jag, a Dana 44?
That I don't know. That I don't know. I know that Mustang I've got at work, the 427 one, that's got a Heights Jag rear end in it.
Okay.
And that's a 9-inch center. They cast their own housing for the 9-inch.
Yeah, but the actual Jag.
The actual Jag one, I don't know what that was originally.
I bet, does anybody know, is the center section of an original old school Jag rear end like a Dana 44?
Mitten made muscle, I agree with you 100%. 8.8, biggest bang for your buck. You can still pick them up from pull apart places for like $80, $100.
Yeah, we'll get any argument from
and often they're limited slip as well, and disc brakes on the rear. It's like you can get the whole package for like $100. It's like awesome. Stray bullet, Corvette rear end is another option. Yeah. Not the most. Neither the Jag or the Corvette are what you'd call high tech independent rear by any means. They get huge amounts of camber change because they're not like a double A arm setup.
The Corvette rear just isn't like the Jag was popular because it's beautiful.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
With the four coilovers and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've any Jag rear, they're beautiful. The Vet rear isn't really. The Vet rear is more clunky and utilitarian, where the Jag rear is kind of like jewel like.
Right. So,
that's why show cars used them forever.
That's what?
Show cars.
Yes. Hey guys, have you heard about the engine that runs on ammonia that Toyota has developed? I have not heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard something about it, but I haven't really looked. Excuse me. Oh, that was bad. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it, but it's fascinating.
Mike Poker, the 351N, the M stands for mistake. Uncle Tony, can you do a history video on the Wayne County Speed Shop break-in? For those of us who were little kids when it happened and don't know the story. I don't know the story, and
I'm not going to do a whole video on it. Just they got busted with nitrous. And the NHRA says, listen, you're out, right? And they didn't want to, because of the Dodge sponsorship, they didn't want to make a scandal out of it. So they staged a break-in to say, okay, well, this is what happened, this is why we're out. But that's the short version of it.
Oh, well. It's only cheating if you get caught.
This is what I'm saying.
Dr. Art's in the house?
Where's Dr. Art? Dr. Art! Dr. Art, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you today. I have been just all over the friggin' map. Tomorrow. I'm sorry. Tomorrow, though.
It's 0. Corvette transverse mono leaf still kicks ass. Just don't park over a mirror.
What was that now?
This one here.
Corvette transverse mono leaf. Just
Don't park over a mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Ammonia engine makes less power than gasoline.
Most engines do.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I mean, they're making huge horsepower out of gasoline engines now.
Yeah, of course.
That we don't necessarily need all of it, So if you can, it's really whether they can make 300 horse out of an ammonia engine. If you can make 300 horse, then that's enough to make most cars, drivable, isn't it?
Zero just put up a link to your Kiwi's knee and car stuff. So you want to learn about Kiwi's knees or cars? You go over to that channel.
There you go.
And have you done anything on your knees lately?
Not on my knees, no. Well,
I've been going to a chiropractor.
Figuratively speaking. You've been going to a chiropractor?
Yeah, I've been going to a chiropractor. I found a female chiropractor.
Right.
Okay, Jennifer, Dr. Jennifer.
Right.
Okay, shout out to Dr. Jennifer at Unity Chiropractic.
Right. Is she like on an 0900 number or?
I don't know, just Unity Chiropractic. So at any rate, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just thinking about how good my back feels.
Oh, okay.
And my neck.
Right.
Because I didn't even know there was shit wrong with my neck. She found things wrong with my neck and fixed it.
There you go.
This is what I'm saying.
And you're like a new man.
Yeah, I still feel where the damage is on my back, but it doesn't hurt.
Huh.
So she's working on that a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did a great job. I know you probably want a guy chiropractor. So I know she's not going to be for you, but yeah, she's done a great job. And so I got to share this with our viewers, because this is something we all have in common. Every one of us has this in common. You ever hurt your back?
Yeah.
Of course you have, right?
Yeah.
We've all hurt our backs. When do you hurt your back? You never hurt your back when you're lifting, like, okay, you're going to lift a transmission, right? You get it up there, right? You're doing crazy shit. You never hurt your back. When do you hurt your back?
Last time I hit my back, I was just like rolling over in bed and we clicked and it's like, oh, shit, ow.
Okay. I learned why that is.
Huh.
I learned why that is. Okay. When you're going to lift something heavy, right, you tighten your abdomen muscles.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the core strength, yeah.
That's what supports your spine.
Right.
But if you're going to lift something that your brain says, oh, it doesn't take any effort.
Right.
You don't bother to tighten those muscles.
Right.
That's when you hurt yourself.
Huh.
So now I've learned that every time I go to lift just about anything or make any type of move, just tighten your stomach muscles. It works. So you understand that, guys?
See?
Because we're used to lifting big things. You're going to lift a cylinder head. You're going to lift a rear end. Whatever it is you're going to lift. Okay. We look at that and you get yourself ready and you lift it up. Okay. But then when you see something light, let's say like a can of paint or some shit like that only weighs a few pounds, your brain doesn't say, "Oh, that's going to be heavy." Tighten up your abdominal muscles, and so you just go for it without that pre-tensioning of those muscles, and 100% of that weight and motion is in your spine, and that's how you end up hurting your back. I never knew this. 61 years I'm operating this friggin' body. I never understood how that worked. I feel like an idiot. But Dr. Jennifer straightened me out. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer.
Thoughts on the Mallory Unilite distributor? Thinking of changing my. Oh, it keeps moving. Changing my stock points on my 73 Nova.
Yeah,
Mallory Unilite.
Unilites are good, man. They've been building them since '73,
Yeah,
right?
well,
I think 73 or 74. They're pretty much foolproof. Let's see. Tavo, I backed it up when I was shifting boxes in transport depot 3x1 kg.
3 times 1 kilo boxes, and then the fourth box was a 36 kilo battery.
What is a kilo? It's in English. Okay. To us humans, what is a kilo?
Double it into pounds, roughly. So 3 2-pound boxes, and then a 70-pound battery.
Oh, okay. So
it's light, relaxing. Picked up a heavy one. Ugh.
A kilo is half of a pound.
No, twice a pound.
Twice a pound.
Twice a pound.
Okay.
So twice 36 kilos is 72 pounds. Well, it's actually about 85.
I'm learning all.
It's 2.2, but it's too hard to work out. If you just double it, in a bit, you're there.
That's like the ratio between gasoline and alcohol. It's 2.2 times.
Oh, really?
You round it off to just 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. See, metric system works, man.
No, it doesn't. It was a failure. That's what cost you guys the war.
We were on the same side.
No, we weren't.
That's what you kept telling us. A kilo is twice the freedom unit. Okay, I haven't heard that one before, but okay. Question about pistons. We're getting back to tech stuff. Shit, we got to read this
let's
one.
do this.
We got to read this. Crap, let's go.
Question about pistons. Hypoeutectic or regular cast pistons for stock 4-pound? I think just flip a coin. Just flip a coin. But if you get like a replacement piston, just a stock replacement piston, the skirts are really thin. So maybe the hyper is a better choice.
I don't know. They don't seem to need skirts in a.
Well,
your engine.
The skirts come in handy for reducing the tremendous knocking sound.
Right.
But I can verify for a fact that a broken skirt does not hinder the performance of those engines or the reliability of those engines one bit.
Right. French onion. Americans only use kilos for measuring coke.
That's true.
That's because it's the international measure.
See, that's why I don't know what a kilo. I'm not a druggie, so I don't understand what these metric things are.
Cordell B. Kiwi, sounds like you forgot to flex your legs before being pinned against the wall. Would have walked away. No, I'm not sure about that one, but I can see where he just got aboard himself a jumbo lighter.
I don't have any matches or a lighter. My lighter took
Mate,
a
I
shit.
haven't had a match since Superman died, so
Oh God,
that's so old and corny, isn't it?
That's from like 1970. Right? I remember that joke when I was like 9.
Oh. See, if you paid the big bucks, you'd get a real comedian. But
I'm cheap like that.
Yep, you got the blue arrow. Here we go.
Yes, I got my glasses back.
Oh, that's right. You were missing them last week. What's that one? They said that we were going to change to the metric system when I was in the 2nd grade. They lied to us. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
they did it, and then they chickened out.
No, we told them go back to the commie land you come from with your commie numbers.
But your military uses metric.
It's not my military. Any military that uses metric is not mine.
This is selective ownership.
My military goes by the mile.
Well, no, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
You want me to call Andy?
Andy?
Andy.
Who's Andy?
Andy is Special Forces. That's the
Yeah,
guy with the
call
Hemi
him.
GTX.
Call him. He'll tell you. The military all run on metric.
No, I'm telling you, if I'm wrong, he'll come here and kill both of us.
Okay.
So yeah, all right. But no, seriously,
Okay. Yep.
he uses English. Chris, there are many metric systems in the world, and they are all wrong. Let's see.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's the problem.
I was young when they tried to teach me this. I was like 11, and they were like, "Here's the metric system," and I was like, "Eat your metric system. I have no use for that." The only measurement I knew when I was like 9 years old or 10 years old, the only measurement that counted to me was that a drag strip was 1,320 feet. It was a quarter mile long. So all I knew.
Oh, there you go. How many meters is it?
It's fuck meters. That's how many. That's how many meters.
400 meters.
It's fuck meters.
400 meters. 4 football fields long.
You guys call gauges meters too, don't you?
Yeah.
See, yeah. So which? Don't you confuse yourself?
Nah. Easy. Easy, man. Tavo. Tavo shot up the page there, mate. I missed you. Where'd you go? Tavo had something to say. Fucking, I missed it. 100 miles per hour sounds rad. Done. End of story. Yeah, 100 miles an hour does sound cooler than 160 Ks. Yeah.
But now you see the okay. So the British use miles an hour.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right.
So now, how does that happen? How do you have a metric system, but you use mile an hour?
I'm trying to think whether they do or not. In Europe, they use kilometres. I'm not sure about England, to be honest with you. I'm not sure whether they've gone to kilometres as well. I'm not sure.
Well, I think most of what they do is metric because all of their engines are in metric, everything's
Right.
in metric. But I know that they reference mile an hour.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
fair
I
enough.
so it's a hodgepodge of stuff.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Yeah. Which doesn't make it any easier to understand. But
Uh,
it's 0. How many kilos? Call the cops, Margaret.
Shoehorn Jackson, is there a reason early poly blocks were used with Hemi heads besides displacement? Okay, you have three polys. There's the Dodge poly, the Chrysler poly, and the Plymouth poly. So the Dodge poly and the Chrysler poly are both what they call single rocker shaft Hemis. So it's a Hemi engine. It started out as a Hemi, and they put with the two rocker shafts, and they did the poly head on those engines. The Plymouth poly is the one it was only a poly, and that was the one that descended to the LA engine and then the Magnum and all of that.
Daniel Snow. Soon doing a 302 small block Ford rebuild. What lifters should I use? Well, I mean, your best options are roller cam
Yes.
and lifters. As far as brands, gosh, I don't know where they're at these days. Because they've had a lot of lifter and cam issues, haven't they? The different companies.
All of the companies have it.
So-
if it's a flat top it, you're rolling the dice. Now,
Mm.
talking about Andy, when we did the Hemi for his GTX, he went out and found 1970s vintage Chrysler lifters. He found them on eBay. So if you really want to be safe, that would be the way to do it. Find some new old stock, something from like let's say before the year 2000, and buy those. And even if you pay a lot of money for them, you're miles ahead just in the fact that you know they're going to be good. And make sure you check the cam for taper. Make sure you check because we've had and I've showed we've had cams that we checked for taper, and not only was the taper inconsistent, but some lobes had no taper at all. So you can have the best lifter in the world with all of the crown and the best metal and all the crown, but if it doesn't have a taper to match up with it, there's no spin, and you'll wipe it out just as easy. It's a minefield. If you can go roller, go roller.
It's a bit more expensive, but it's just a better option. It's probably quite a bit more expensive, to be fair, but hey. Hey, Tony, can you revisit classic Dodge truck suspension really quick because of the mostly symmetrical leaf pack, you're supposed to add clamps in the front and back of the axle, right? He's asking about Dodge truck suspension.
For a drag racing application, it's hard. You clamp all the clamps. You do the same thing. All the clamps off the back and all the clamps on the front. It's hard though because it's symmetrical. So the Dodge suspension, the truck suspension that we have on Slaghammer, we fabricated a pinion snubber, and we used a Ford pinion snubber mounted to the frame of the truck. So the rear end comes up and hits the pinion snubber. Without that, there would be all kinds of hop, even with the front leaves clamped together. It's you run into the same problem with a Dodge truck as you do with any Ford or Chevy car, where you've got the symmetrical leaf springs. So you kind of throw all the Chrysler rules away when you're talking about a Dodge truck.
Hmm.
You didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
You didn't know that.
No, I didn't know.
I know. That's why.
I'll tell you more. I can explain coilovers better than I can lease, to be honest.
Coilovers are gay. I'm just saying. You know, they go like this. Whee!
Whee!
Yeah, we got torsion bars. Twist it. Then you got, your coil springs. Whee! Springy.
I mean, how can you argue with that logic? Like, the way he explains that is like, okay, I've been going down the wrong road for a couple of decades now.
Springy. It's freaking gay.
Okay, tech question. How low of a compression ratio would you have to run to have a 383 run on 87? What, 9.5?
I run 10 to 1 motors on 87 all day long. You just gotta be conservative with the timing. Limit the timing to around 31, 32 total, and you're usually fine.
There you go. That's answered that one. How long is a click? A kilo or a kilometer? Space is metric. You're getting a bit of pushback on this metric stuff, Tony.
Does space really exist?
Wow.
I mean, I've seen pictures of it. Never been there. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you for sure. Whitworth. Yeah, that was.
that was hideous.
Did you have Whitworth in your?
Yeah. That's the weirdest sizes. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
I think
they were on crack or something when they came up with Whitworth.
I think I actually have a Whitworth socket set here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're bizarre. Great Britain uses both systems. There are a bunch of weirdos over there. Well, what are you going to do?
No, it's not here. It's at the house.
Chris Cadman. A Kiwi coil springs wound backwards. Just turn the spring upside down and it fixes the problem.
Yeah, I have a set. I keep a set just in case I ever get another Beezer.
Another what?
Beezer.
Beezer?
A BSA.
Oh.
I got a thing for those. Most people like Triumphs, but I like the Beezer.
Down and out, my pre-unit Triumph T100 uses Wentworth.
Yeah.
Isn't Wentworth a prison?
Oh, Wentworth. It's Whitworth.
I get it. Typo. It's all right.
Hey, Olive. How are you?
Yeah, hey, Olive.
K. Nelson. Tony, can you do a video on Chrysler letter body nomenclature? No, I'll do it right now. Okay, you know all of the body nomenclature.
What? Who?
The body nomenclature.
Right.
You know all that, right?
Yeah. So, kind of.
A bodies are your compact cars, right?
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Valiant, Dart, right? Scamp, the Barracuda, the early Barracudas, right? Your B body are your mid-sized cars, Belvederes, Chargers, Coronets, Satellites, all of that stuff. C bodies are your full-size cars, Furies and Monacos and Polaris. E bodies, Challengers and Barracudas, 1970 and up. D bodies are Imperials, Chrysler Imperials. The F body is a Aspen and Volare. And then you got the M and the J body, which are derivatives of the Aspen and Volare. So it'd be like the Diplomats and the later Furies and all of that. Was that good enough? Did that?
Oh, they completely explained it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
What do we got here? I have a Chevy 1500 Z71 2003. What speed stall converter should I pick? 14 to 16 or 16 to 18? Stock applications.
I'd go to the 16 to 18.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was going to say. The 1400 is pretty low.
Yeah, I mean even the 1800 is low.
Yeah. a lot of the police cars, they had like an 18, like I think about 2200 store just to give them that little bit more get up and go. Tavo, my dad used to speak Whitworth fluently. He was a maintenance fitter back in the UK. That would explain that.
For those who don't know, Whitworth is its own numbering system, and it's not standard and it's not metric. It's its own, like, and there are no corresponding sizes, if I remember correctly. Like you go standard and metric, and like let's say like a 13 millimeter and a half inch, there's like a half a thousandth of an inch difference. So they're one of the same thing with 14 millimeter and 9/16, it's half a thousandth of an inch difference. So you don't notice it in most cases. But Whitworth doesn't line up with anything.
No, not at all. Yeah, it'll be like 3/16 and it'll be huge.
Yeah.
And just it's like, yeah, it's really confusing.
I have resorted to Whitworth tools when I have like a fastener that's like rusted or distorted to like a size that nothing else will work on. You can usually find a Whitworth socket and bash it on when I hammer.
Kiwi, you ever work on SU carburetors? A little bit. They are a unique design. They had their merits, and they had their minuses as well. So, if you were going to get a truck from the 60s, what would it be and why? My favourite 60s truck is like that 67 C10.
Yeah, that's nice.
67 8 9 C10.
I don't like the Dodge trucks in that era.
Right. Like the D100s?
Yeah. There's something about them. They're just very ponderous.
Yeah, they're not the super pretty truck.
No, they're homely. They're really homely.
The same with the Fords, the 60s Fords trucks. And I'm a Ford guy, but I still think the Chevy was well, 67 and on was prettier. The pre-67, like the 5.6 Chevys, 65 and 6 Chevy trucks were not that pretty.
Andy Wood's F100 is beautiful.
Right.
Casper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I beat it, just saying, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I liked looking at it in my mirror. Seeing it come up.
You want some salt to help rub in the wound?
No. I'm saying. I'm just saying. I was. I'm looking at the finish line. But I was captivated looking in the mirror at the front of that truck, and it's just so. It was so beautiful. So I would say I would go with whatever Andy's truck is what I would want. But I'd make it faster. I'm busting balls. Andy's very fast, and I just caught him off guard.
Bobby Z, I've worked on SU carbs. Don't forget to check the oil in them. Yeah, that's right. You've got that little dash pot that you screw out right. In the middle, and you've got to have the right amount of oil level in it to control the diaphragm. And yeah, they're an interesting thing. Hemi Cuda, Dodge D100s are shallow and pedantic. Okay, that's an interesting description.
It's deep.
It's deep.
It's deep
and meaningful.
He went to the spiritual level of the truck. He's like, forget about its mechanical merits. Let's talk about how it exists in the ether.
Oh dear, that's a huge lighter that Tony has. I'll bet that won't fit in his pocket. No.
How does it resonate with my chakras?
He's away. He's off. We'll park him in the corner shortly. He can just chuckle to himself.
I'm about to do that.
Assume the fetal position, and he'll be fine.
I don't spend
we'll
enough
just get
time
on with it
in the fetal position, honestly.
Oh, that was with Janet, the chiropractor. Janice, what was her name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer
the chiropractor. She's a god. She's a goddess. She's awesome.
Ubar's going to put her 0900 up soon.
Okay.
For Jennifer, the stress reliever.
She's awesome. I'm telling you, great, nice girl.
Great,
really nice
stress.
girl.
I think
don't go like that. Don't be like that. That's not like that at all. She's a sweetheart. She's a mom. She has a 2-year-old.
Finally, the penny drop.
She has a 2-year-old son who loves cars.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
I wasn't actually mocking her. I was mocking you, but you just like,
Well, that's what happens. It goes right over. Everything goes over my head. All right, what do we got here? You got
hit the blue button. Okay. What's the craziest interior I've seen? 66 Charger
Yeah,
for a
I go
stock
with that.
interior.
Yeah.
They're crazy. They're awesome, but like just so out of the box for anything else in that era.
Well, you Fords in that era, like picture like a T-Bird, an early like a 61, 62 T-Bird, that type
Hmm.
of car, with that
The big wraparound
the big
dash.
wrap around everything,
Yeah.
and those are kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess. But the Charger took it all the way back.
Yeah, but it does it in a classy way.
Oh,
It does
it's
it in a very
good.
timeless
It's
way.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an awesome interior.
Yeah, where the Ford one didn't really hold up. Right.
No, it was, and it was really the front. It was what you saw in front of you. There wasn't much going in on the back. The back of a Charger, it's got the console that
Yeah.
comes right up, and the way the seats lay down, and you can turn a fastback Charger into like a step
almost
side
a
truck.
station wagon.
Uh,
Oh, and Zero just put up a link to your content.
to my content.
Free. He's a free content provider. You
Yep.
get what you pay for
Just-
every time you click one of his videos.
Just stop buying video, man. See, free content.
Have you put up any free videos lately?
Not for about a week.
Oh God!
I know, hopeless, isn't it?
These people want to see you
I know.
in action, bro.
I know. I've got to. Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow night, I will put one up tomorrow night. I promise. Pinky promise, whatever they call that. Yes.
Let's see, Iceman. Why do you think Chrysler didn't make? Well, that question's gone.
You got to read faster. You can't be sounding out the syllables.
I
You've
have to
actually gotta
sound it all
do
out.
the whole
I'm
word.
hooked on phonics. Let's see. Why do you think Chrysler didn't make small wagons in a later A body? Seems, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why they didn't either. It makes no sense at all. It was there, you know. It
Yeah,
was there.
they kept them running a little bit longer in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, the thing is, what always puzzled me was, okay, like the wagon takes extra unibody. The wagon is a little more difficult to build than a coupe or a sedan in that unibody platform because of the support of the sides. But they made convertibles.
Right.
So if you could make a special unibody for the convertible, why wouldn't you make it for the station wagon? That made no sense.
It's true. Tavo's saying the Aussie Ford Landau 4-bucket seats. Yeah, I remember the Landau, but I don't recall the interior. It's been so long since I've seen one of those. But 4-bucket seats is cool. That's that's similar to the 66 Charger. They were 4-bucket seats, really, weren't they? The back ones were a bit small for a bucket, but technically speaking.
Rick S. I have a solid lifter slant 6 that has a ticking noise at idle. Only hear it at the back of the exhaust. Engine itself is quiet and goes good. Sounds like a lifter tick. Ideas. Exhaust leak. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
It's an exhaust leak.
I had a Chevy truck in a C10 today, and the guy thought he had lifters going out, but it was the header was loose, and it was just ticking out the gasket. So he was happy. CW, Kiwi for the win. There you go. Where'd that go? You need to put up more, Chris Fremerser. You need to put up more videos, Kiwi. Having to settle for Tony's vids gets tiresome after a while.
You got to be getting tired of me by now. This is for a long friggin' time I'm doing this. My expiration date is way in the past. That back to that ticking thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because lifter noise and exhaust, like a header leak or an exhaust port leak, gasket leak type of thing, sound like exactly alike. But the easiest way to tell the difference is just bring up the throttle a little bit and level it out. So like if it's idling, you're going tick, 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 and you give it some gas and then hold it so that the engine's up, let's say around 1500 RPM. If the noise goes away during that time that it's coming up and coming back down,
then it's the exhaust.
Then it's the exhaust.
Yeah.
Whereas the lifter noise will stay consistent regardless of the throttle position.
Kiwis, capybaras, and Camaros. There you go, JK.
Do you have capybaras?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
What's the most obnoxious animal you guys got there?
Weasels and stoats.
Weasels and who?
Stoats.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, stoats like a weasel.
Isn't that like a mouse with really big eyes? Stoat?
No, it's more like a weasel. It's kind of long and skinny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a part of that weasel family. But they came over with the English when they came and colonised New Zealand, and they've just about killed off the actual kiwi bird. They're a big predator for the kiwi bird because it doesn't fly, it can't get away.
Greg Avila, how do you guys like to lock out the rear brakes for burnouts?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I've never used line locks or anything like that. I'll just either power brake it, or if it's a stick, just jump off the clutch and jump on the brake at the same time. You know what I mean? And so I've never. I mean, the line lock is the traditional way to do it. If you're looking to build like a
But I mean,
burnout car,
you can do a burnout with a line lock with a stock 283.
yes,
You know that's got enough grunt to overcome the traction of the tires, and
without
then
the added
you
brake.
start doing a burnout with 180 horsepower. It's
Right.
Big deal.
Well, let's say
To me, you should be, like if you're going to do a burnout, it needs to be without any brakes. If you've got enough horsepower to just nail it,
yes,
and it'll fry the tires, and you can pull another couple of gears, and it's still smoking the tires. That's a burnout.
I agree. I agree. But now let's just say you want to do that whole burnout for distance thing. You've watched Roadkill one too many times, and you want to do burnouts for distance. You use an adjustable direct connection used to sell them.
Oh, the bias valves.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can reduce the rear brakes.
Yeah. You just put a valve in the brake
Mm.
line. You run it into the car so you can control it, and you just turn off the pressure to the back brakes, and then you could do burnouts for distance for as long as you keep the tires spinning. Proportional valve, adjustable proportioning valve. I couldn't think of the name. We're
stuck again.
Yes, thank you, Stray Bullet. Proportioning valve.
David Fernandez, hey, do you like 3 on the floor or column better?
Depends on the car.
Yeah.
It depends on the car. If it's like a big old sedan, right? Definitely on the column. There's just something very, very, I don't know, it's like therapeutic driving at like 25, 30 miles an hour through town, just doing the column shift like that. Okay. Most people can't relate to it, but trust me, it's like,
yep.
Right.
Till it hooks 2 gears, and then you
Yeah.
got to climb out and yank on the linkages and shag around.
Yeah.
That sucks.
In a sportier kind of car, like a Duster or a Maverick.
Yeah,
or
you want a floor
you
change.
want it on the floor.
But if you got a bench seat, like or a truck, column change truck, with a bench seat, kind of can have its upsides having a bench seat and column floor change. But.
Well, my Duster has bench seat and a 4-shift.
Yeah.
3-speed.
Proportionally. Oh, we'll hit the blue again. Here we go. How can I get UTG merch? Well, I'm sure someone's about to post the link.
Yes.
Now
you would go to the link that one of my fantastic mods is about to post. Fubar usually does it.
0 Fubar merch, please.
Yes.
we want Fubar merch.
Fubar should have his own merch.
Ness car. My negative terminal sparks really bad when I try to hook up the battery on my 383. Do you know what might cause that? Yes, a drawer. You've got an electrical drawer. Something's on the moment you connect the ground.
I think you want something a little more specific than that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let's go back. My negative terminal sparks really bad.
Right.
When
you've got a short somewhere or something fairly, a good, fairly strong drawer. But what you could do to track it down is just pull fuses, and then one of the fuses you'll pull, it'll stop that spark, or 1 or 2 of the fuses will do that. The other thing you can do to check for a parasitic drawer is put a test light from your negative terminal, and then like disconnect the terminal from your cable from the battery. Put your test light on the terminal, and then touch it to the ground cable, and if it lights up, you got a drawer.
So what he said, yes, and I'll add 2 things to that, since it's a Mopar, right? You have two possible shorts that are common and hidden on those cars. And one would be where the alternator gauge, two heavy wires go to the alternator gauge, because it goes directly from, so your circuit goes from the battery to the starter relay to a fusible link inside the car through the bulkhead connector to the alternator gauge. Okay.
Ammeter? Is it like an ammeter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a short someplace in that, and sometimes it's on the circuit board itself because it's an aluminum circuit board, and there's just like this little wafer of like a Bakelite type of material, and then the posts, and sometimes that goes bad and it'll short there, and that'll give you that heavy spark when you go to hook up the battery, or an internally shorted alternator, which will also give you a heavy spark when you go to hook up the battery. So I would suggest take the heavy wire, the one wire that's bolted onto the alternator, 7/16 bolt, take that off and connect it and see what happens.
There you go.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
you gave like the common,
Right.
well-rounded answer, and then I dove in with the Mopar specific stuff.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
This is why we work as a team. They cannot be beaten by any other team in all of YouTube-isms.
YouTube land.
YouTube land.
YouTube
Right,
land.
the land of YouTube.
Yes.
YouTubular.
Hi guys, Cliff Groomer at Mopar Action. Did he use any other names other than Brunt Brothers?
Tons of them. Al Dente and oh God, I can't even remember. You're talking about 35, almost 40, 35 years ago. But yeah, he used tons of fake names.
Chris Cadman, tiny denim shorts. Is that an answer? Is that a good like?
That's what he wants to see you in. This gets weird, man. This gets weird here.
That's getting a little weird. You're going to have to deny that, Mr. Cadman, or he's just going to run with it.
Uncle Tony's fridge. Yes, thank you, Ari. It's a link to my refrigerator. I guess.
Uncle Tony's garage. Chris Cadman, look up Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah.
Short shorts. You're welcome. Kiwi and Daisy Dukes. No, don't. No. This is Kiwi maybe, but not me. No.
Weird imagery.
Yeah.
I knew I shouldn't have quit drinking.
Roland Young, both of you, first car. What was your first car, Tony?
The first car I actually built and drove myself was a '69 Charger.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
With a 446 pack.
Really?
I was 16.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah, I mean, New Zealand. My first car was a Hillman Minx, a 1.6 litre four-banger English car that would like 50 mile an hour. It was about all done, and it got me to school and back. But it was that was New Zealand back in 50 years ago. 45 years ago, and no, V8s were few and far between.
Mine was a stolen recovery that had been stripped of everything, motor, trans, all kinds of everything. I bought it for $20, and then pieced it together with many trips to the junkyard. I built a 440. It's my first engine I ever built. I put a 6-pack on it that came from a fatality car. A 70 Roadrunner that had got wrapped around a telephone pole. 3 kids got killed inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I got that intake manifold. So that was what was on there.
Wow.
And that was the first car I ever built. I was 16 years old.
First American car I ever had was a '66 Studebaker Cruiser.
Wow. That's
4-door sedan. Yeah, it was it's an unusual car here, let alone New Zealand.
Yeah.
But that was the first of the Studebakers that had the Chevy engine. Chevy bought them at that point, I think in 65 or 6, and they threw a 283 and 3-speed and 283 and torque flight in it. So it was a weird combination.
Good combination. Mike Fredericks, how quick was the 78 GTX you street raced in the 80s? It wasn't that fast. It was like a 12-second car. But remember, in the street in New York in the 70s, in the early 80s, that was pretty stout. That would get you around 90% of what was out there. Greg
Avelia, El Camino versus Ranchero versus whatever they have down under versus Flower Car. What do you like? Mate, I'm actively looking right now for a 72 Ranchero.
Really?
Yeah, I like those. That Starsky and Hutch kind of Torino, but the Ranchero. Oh, I want one of them. I'm getting
Wait,
rid of my Dodge truck.
the
My like
Starsky and
2500.
Hutch era Torino, wasn't that the later one, like 74?
Yeah, but it's that basic body shape. 72 to 76, I think, was the same basic body shape with different grills and lights and stuff.
See, I like the earlier one.
Yeah, the 72's got the smaller grill, like a small mouth grill, and then separate headlights.
But that's how there's like the 69 70s are.
Yeah, well,
They have a smaller headlights.
yeah. The 72 is a 1 year only front cap on it.
Hang on.
Oh, we're googling.
I just got to Google 72. Hey, you keep them busy.
Okay,
I'm
I'll
gonna
keep you
Google
busy.
72
Studebaker
Ranchero.
cool. Yes, it is Roland Young. Yes.
1972.
Uncle Tony needs to
Ranchero.
go see Australia and New Zealand. What are the chances? Very slim because he doesn't fly.
Yeah,
He won't get on a plane.
Less than 0.
Less than 0. If we can get a cruise ship, maybe he'll do that. But I think he'd go.
No, I'd go
Either
berserk.
he'd go crazy or he'd drive the passengers
Yeah,
crazy.
45 minutes on a cruise ship, and I would be axe murdering everybody. You couldn't keep no sharp objects near me.
But it is the free alcohol. Oh no, it's not free alcohol on a cruise ship. It's free food.
Okay, yeah, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that.
So that's a 72. That's one that he likes. Yes, and you know something? I couldn't picture that car. Like when you said 72 Ranchero, I could not picture that.
Huh.
See, I like the 70s. Let me see here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that one.
70 Ranchero.
Yeah, quite a different shape.
Yeah.
Big one grill, like the headlights and grill are all part of the front. They're not separated.
Yeah. Wait, that's not a good picture here. Go with that one. No. Yeah, that works. Yeah. See, that's one I like, which is obviously cooler than the one he likes. But that's okay. They're both cool cars. But mine's cooler.
Of course.
Yeah, just saying. Mine could come with a Super Cobra Jet 429 and a 4-speed.
Well, yeah, could be.
Yours could come with what? Like something with a smog pump, I think. Yeah.
If I get one, I might take the smog pump off. I think.
Yeah, you would take that off.
Yeah.
But that would be half the character under the hood.
No, they just.
You know, when I picture a 70s Ford, that's what I think. I see the air pump system, the air injection system. You think about it, right? No, seriously. Picture you open a hood on a 72, 73, even a 71, 72, 73 Ford.
Yeah.
And what do you see immediately, right? You see the big blue air cleaner.
Right.
And all of the air injection
plumbing
stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Uncle Tony, first class. First class is 20K to fly. Shit, is it really 20K to fly to New Zealand in first class?
I don't care if they paid me 20 grand. I'm not flying there. It's just not going to happen.
A gay Ranchero is a Caballero. Ari. Okay. Caballero is a Buick, isn't it?
No, what was a Caballero?
Oh, the gay Caballero. That's right. That's a line out of something. It was a movie.
No, there was something called the Caballero. Oh, wait, yeah, the Caballero. Yes, no. Caballero was a GMC version of the El Camino in 1979. 1980, 78, 79, 80, I believe. The Caballero was the GMC version of the El Camino. Am I right about that?
I think you are, yeah. Yep. See, I thought Buick, like a 50s Buick, was some of them were Caballeros. Or am I getting confused with something else?
That wouldn't have been a model. It might have been a trim level.
Yeah. Okay. Like was the wagon, the 4-door hardtop wagon or something, a Caballero?
I don't know.
I'm getting mixed up. Ignore me. Tavo, would you still take the Ranchero over an XP Falcon Ute? Absolutely not. No. Mate, if I could get a Falcon Ute over here, I would be all over that. It would be the baddest XP Falcon Ute you've probably ever seen. But yeah, try and find one and then try and get it here. It's like,
Stray bullets. I'd like to take Tony flying in my little cloud hopper. Dude, never happened. Like I don't like to climb ladders. You don't understand. I stay on the ground. Like literally, I stay as attached to the earth as I can be.
David Fernandez would love to see us race propane with us race with propane someday. How's the propane engine going?
Well, have you seen it? Yeah, well, you
I
were
was
here.
here last week. I saw it last week. It looks like it's about in the same place.
Yeah, then I haven't touched it.
Isn't it meant to be going over
6
there?
weeks. It's gonna go over there.
All
I
right.
still gotta knock the front end apart and everything. But I've been busy. I've been so busy with stuff. I just haven't been
You've
here.
been busy playing with Rivians.
Oh jeez. Well, no. I've been busy with my puppy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You know, my puppy, and just life in general. I just have not done much here in the last few days. Is that your wife yelling at us about something?
Huh?
Telling us what we did wrong?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's just found me an '87 Ford Falcon Ute, Australian spec pickup, 5-litre V8 swap, 5-speed manual, US title. That's for sale here in the States. An '87 Falcon. That's an That's an XF, I think.
How about skydiving?
Oh, skydiving's cool, done that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's nothing like throwing yourself out of a perfectly good plane.
I'm good.
I did one. I did parachuting. I did skydiving. Parachuting was the best one because you're in this little wee puddle jumper plane with the wing on the top fuselage, top of the fuselage, with a big stay bar that comes in on an angle down to the floor.
I've seen videos of that.
And you climb out and you grab onto that and then you kick your feet out. You're just flapping like this. And right at that point, I thought, oh, maybe this is not such a good idea. And then I got yelled at to let go. Oh, Mrs. Kiwi's saying only nutters skydive. Well, it would appear you married a nutter then. Sorry, dear.
Like in my entire life, I've never even had the slightest desire. Like the thought never crossed my mind. Hey, go jump out of a plane. Just no.
Wow, that's sold here in the States.
Did you want that?
It's not quite it's not an XB. It's later than that. It's an XF, but that's $13,000. Hey, Tavo, like take a look at that, bro. A bit hard to see. That just sold here for 13 grand.
I'm not
crazy. That seems like a cheap truck.
I'm not crazy about the back window treatment on that.
Right.
The C-pillar, it looks like they forgot something. Yeah, that's weird. I could pass on that.
Yeah, that's not my favorite Falcon Ute.
Yeah. There's something unbalanced about that car. It also has a lot of Fox Mustang in the front end.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they were very much in bed together, Ford Australia and Ford America, as you would expect, like design-wise. What's Tavo think of that? Seriously, who would jump out of a perfectly good plane that's not about to crash? Well, I mean, that's a fair comment, really, but it definitely gets the heart rate up. Do tuned pipes matter on a propane-powered engine?
What was that now?
Do tuned pipes matter on a propane-powered engine?
I'm sure they do, but I have no idea what the value of it is, and we're going to find stuff like that out. Let's see. Bungee jumping. Yeah, that's another thing.
But yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Done that.
You've bungee jumped?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a wild man.
Oh yeah. Danger is like, it's not my middle name, but yeah, I like high risk sports. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. You get the adrenaline. Hey, if you're not living on the edge, you're just taking up space.
I've done a lot of extremely high risk things.
Drag race, all that, your top fuel drag racing.
The nature of the fuel altitudes and stuff, yeah, but it's just something about that because I could stop it. Does that make any sense?
But could you?
Yes.
At 100, 200 mile an hour, it takes a bit of stopping.
No, the point is, if things get out of control, right? I wrote that story in I did like a 4-page story for Hot Rod Magazine back in 1997 called "A Few Moments in Hell,"
Right.
and it was about driving my fuel altered. Okay, and I said in the story, I think I said in the story, it's a long time ago. I think that the thing about it was that I could stop it anytime I wanted to. Like if things got hairy,
Right.
right? Shit gets hairy. All I gotta do is lift my foot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
There's an element of control.
yes,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. There's an element of control, but like if you're doing something like bungee jumping or diving out of a plane or anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
Well, once you take that step, there's no going back.
no, you just got to hope they tied it around your ankles and not the other guy.
Right. You're up. It's the roll of the dice. It's the luck of the draw.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Right.
I did a really high one, and like on the shorter, like the 50, they do like 75 yards high, and like you feel the bungee pull up on your legs like really quickly because it doesn't have far and it stretches. And,
Right.
But I did one that was like 198 meters, which is 210 yards high. And like you leap off and you're falling and you're falling and you're thinking far out, or a similar word to that. I hope this thing like starts taking up the slack soon.
You're a wild man.
And then it did, and it was like woo.
Yeah. See, I will not get involved in any
I won't
activity.
be. My bungee jumping days are over with my knees now.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure.
it'd be just like they'd be just ankles and lower legs, and they'd be on the floor of the canyon.
My biggest gripe with all of that is that if there is a malfunction, it takes too long to die. You know what I mean? Just exactly like the plane thing, right? It's like, okay, so you're on a plane, right? And it's like, well, everybody says, well, you got to die sometime, right? The problem is that there's a problem with the plane. It takes way too long to die. You've got like 30,000 feet
To fall.
to scream. You know what I mean? I would get tired of screaming. After about 15,000 feet, I'd be out of screaming. Then what do you do for the rest of the time?
Well, you sit there and complain. Are you going to be? Is this going to take long?
Yeah, no, all that stuff takes way too long to die. I don't want to get involved in it.
LOL, Mr. Kiwi is a wild man.
He's a wild man. He's freaking crazy.
Ever gone over Niagara in a barrel? No, that's a little bit too exciting for me. Yeah, no.
KJ, Kylie, Tony, everyone at Bull Taco. No, they were gone before I got in. I didn't get into dirt bikes till I was in my 30s, and they were collector's items by that point.
Chavo saying bungee jumping would fix your back, but stretch it back into shape.
Yeah, I have Dr. Jennifer. I don't need to jump out of anything.
Kiwis, concourse, Dialogans, and crackhead flipper cars.
That's actually a good.
I've got my next video is a flipper car, so watch out for that. It's a sad Mustang convertible.
Did you see that satellite that I did yesterday?
No.
I mentioned you in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a 67 satellite that had been
Right.
sitting in the grass.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the body was nice. The body was straight. You know what I mean?
Just no bottom.
Zero bottom. Everything was missing. And I said, this is like how that Cougar that you had.
Mm-hmm.
That's how these cars happen.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like sitting on the ground.
David Fernandez, Kiwi, do you find yourself more confident being away from your hometown or vice versa?
Never really thought about it. It doesn't factor into it.
Uh-oh. See, now you're going to start making those comparisons and have an existential crisis.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, that's good then. See Baby Hippos race and giveaway. Yes, you can go to Kiwi's channel there and see Baby Hippos race.
That'd be cool to watch. There ain't no Opry in New Zealand. No, there's no Opry in New Zealand.
No, the raft isn't big enough for that.
Invert, they're talking about backs. Invert table works great. And you hang upside down for a few seconds and it's time to repeat a couple of times. Yeah, I'd do that, and then the wife would refuse to tip me back upright. I'd be in trouble. Zero might have just invented baby hippo racing. Harry Tony would use the bungee cord for a tow rope.
Yeah.
You're probably right there.
Jay Rodriguez, are top loader Ford transmissions worth the hype? They're good. How would you rate them? I would rate them behind. I would rate them behind the Chrysler transmission.
Hmm.
So I would say your pecking order of manual transmissions would be the Chrysler 833, the top loader, and then the T10, the Super T10, the Munchies.
Sorry, I was reading Mrs. Kiwi. What?
What'd she have to say?
Oh, Chris Cadman said he fell off the toilet once or maybe twice. She thought that was pretty funny, Chris. But
That's why you always have to wear protective
not-
gear when you
I've
hit the
not-
bathroom.
I don't think I've fallen off the toilet, but I may have fallen asleep on the toilet.
Helmet and goggles anytime you go to the bathroom. Always, always, guys. Come on, be safe.
Oh. Best carburetor for hill climbing. Okay, well, Bill. Now, when you say hill climbing, you meaning like one of these hill climbs where it's like super steep and just straight up the side of a cliff type hill climbing, or
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. Just
okay, because what my version of a hill climb, like in New Zealand, Europe world, is basically a short course race on an uphill section of road. They call that a hill climb.
well, that might be what he's talking about. But either way, you're talking about a high incline carburetor, something that's going to operate front to back.
Okay, so
on an incline.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. That makes the question make sense. I don't know.
I'm going to say quadrajet. I think a quadrajet would probably. I mean, there are specialized carburetors specifically for that. But I would think either I would think a quadrajet would probably going with simple stock parts. I think. Unless you're a pro racer looking for every last bit of power, you just build like a fun toy to just go out and run around in the woods with. I think a quadrajet would probably be your best bet.
Curmudgeon's saying the same thing. He's agreeing with you. Himi Kuda, best carburetor for hill climbing, multiple side draft carburetors. Yeah. Yep.
Well, see, there you go. They all agree with me. Validating me once again.
Quadrajet, Kill Bill sirens.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Will Bill, yes, I have a 2-barrel motorcraft. Okay, so that's the one that's got the accelerator pump at the front in the middle of the float bowl. No.
Q-Jet, best carb for everything. According to Tavo. Tavo has spoken.
Well,
there you go.
But Ari is speaking. But even more important than that, Zero is speaking.
Ooh. Fiat with Hayabusa motor hill climb car is epic. Yes, it is. Yes. Fiat 500 Bambina. Is that what you're talking about, Zero? I remember I was doing hill climbs back when I was in my 20s, and there was a guy who had a Fiat Bambina, and that had a 1300 Kawasaki engine in it. And it was the weirdest thing. This little Fiat Bambina would be like smoking up the road, sounding like a Kawasaki 1300 at 9,000 RPM, and it was confusing. Like the part of your brain was wanting to overlay the sound of a Fiat Bambina, but your ears were hearing the Kawasaki, and it was like, oh, something's wrong.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But to see a Bambina on full lock on tarmac with the back tires actually smoking a little, and pulling 9,000 RPM, it was like, wow. What did I smoke last night?
You need to build something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That would be fun.
It would be fun.
I would help you with that.
Yeah?
Absolutely. If you wanted to build something like that, you could count on me. I would definitely get
We need to find a little baby car that's cheap. Because Fiat Bambinas are not cheap anymore. You don't really want to really cut one of those up anymore. I saw something about a Monaro. Jay Weiss, I've seen a few Australian cars, and best is the HQ Holden Monaro. It's like a Chevy Nova, but cooler. Agreed.
David Fernandez, what's the condenser do on the coil and bottle rocket? It acts as a condenser. It's a condenser. A condenser is a shock absorber for the points. The one that's on that car is like one of the few leftovers from my nitro days. I had it laying in the bottom of my toolbox. And it's a Mallory condenser for a Super Mag 5, and it's about yay long. It's the same diameter as a regular condenser, but it's about this long.
Huh. 70 Swinger 344 speed replacing the clutch is the Doob 1925. What type of clutch do you recommend? I like the McLeod clutches.
I'm not going to recommend a brand name,
Okay.
right? But if I had a choice, it'd definitely be a 3-finger instead of a diaphragm.
Why is that?
Diaphragm clutches tend to stick to the floor at higher RPMs. They don't release as quickly.
Okay.
See, the centrifugal force wants to hold those fingers in. So if you go to power shift the diaphragm clutch, they don't release as quickly as the pedal is going to come back. And what happens, you're already halfway through the gear and it starts to release, you grind gears. Whereas a 3-finger clutch is much more,
It's in or out.
yeah, in or out.
Interesting. Interesting.
The
Good-
higher the
good
RPM
information.
the higher the RPM you go with a diaphragm clutch, the more likely you are to blow the shift.
Oh, Tava, Hayabusa swaps into minis are a thing down here, down in Aussie. There you go. That would be a rapid little mini. Reverse gear is the trick though with motorbike engines, isn't it?
Lord knows, you see that I haven't stopped smoking. I quit months and months ago. I don't smoke anymore. It's a disgusting habit. I got tired of smelling like an ashtray all the time, and yeah, no, I don't smoke anymore.
Oh, if only that were true.
Well, if you say it, it's true.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, you say it, and I go home smelling a cigarette. So
Oh, come on, and Maury loves that.
no, she does
Mm.
not. Like, go away.
I can't keep my hands off you. You smell like cigarettes. What is safe cranking compression for 91 octane? I don't know. I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would be safe cranking compression for 91 octane? You can't really go by that. There are so many other factors at work, including the type of combustion chamber, but ignition lead and all of that. You can't really go by what the cranking compression is in relation to the octane of fuel that you need. It's part of it, but it's not the whole picture.
Yeah. Well, that can be affected so much by cam timing, can't it? And lift and duration and all that. It all affects your static compression, but it doesn't affect your actual compression. So the static compression, what's the term for like the 10-to-1? What's that compression?
What do you mean?
Like they talk about, and you do
That's static compression.
Dynamic is what you do with a little compression tester gauge.
Right.
Right.
So static compression is you don't even need the motor.
Right.
You just need all of the numbers added up, and you can figure out the
Right.
static compression ratio. The dynamic compression ratio is what it actually is.
When you're cranking.
Right, and cam timing has everything to do with that.
Right, I'm with you. Yep. So Mary said, Mrs. Kiwi says Tony doesn't smoke anymore.
Or any less. She went to the same third grade school of jokes that we did.
Mopar Man, the Burglar 500. Okay. Uncle Tony like 007 is smoking is cool.
I do everything like James Bond. Are you kidding me?
Zero saying, grew up watching racing, all types, favourite teams, cigarette sponsors, never smoked ever. Proof they're full of it. There you go. I've never smoked either, mate. So good for you.
Yeah, I'm glad I quit. I feel like a new man. You know, it's ridiculous. I can.
What's wrong with your old man?
I could put on a shirt and not get out of breath. You know what I mean? Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. I used to get out of breath trying to take a breath. It was. Oh, you have no idea how bad it was.
Oh dear.
I was such a fiendish smoker. I used to actually end up eating half my cigarettes.
What?
Yeah, because you're eating and you're smoking at the same time, and it's like just you know what I'm saying? That's how fanatical. That's how freaked out, frenzied a smoker I was.
Good Lord.
And I quit. And those days are all behind me now. I'm clean.
Jay Weiss, do you know of the Canadian Uncle Nick? Same show as you guys.
He does not have the same show as we do. Period. The end.
You had to live there.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Hemi Cooter, I'm named after James Bond. My name is Sean, the best James Bond.
Let's see.
Greetings, Kiwi from Torrance, California. Hey, man. Oh, Ukos. Yeah. How you doing, bud? Quitting is for quitters. Well, that's true. That's why I still drink, because I'm no quitter.
Hey guys, shifting gears to rear axles.
There we go.
What would you recommend to install in a corporate 9 1/4 to go from open diff to sure grip? I would try to find a factory sure grip. That shouldn't be too hard to find in a wrecking yard. They use those rears. Oh God, they used that 9 1/4. Oh, when did they stop using those 9 1/4s? The Chrysler.
No, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was like to the early 2000s. I don't think you'd have a hard time finding a sure grip for that thing in a boneyard.
Mopar man says, roll a pack up in your t-shirt, bud.
Let's see.
Kiwi. Bang Steel long range shooting school. Kiwi, what became of that fake Mustang convertible? It's still in Franklin, as far as I know. And it's just being driven a little bit. I don't know what they're not planning on fixing it correctly. They're just going to drive it, which is that's their call. They're not breaking any rules doing it, because here there's not really any rules on that stuff. Like New Zealand and Aussie, you wouldn't be allowed to drive that car on the road. Just different location, different rules. There's no kind of sneakily lighting that, is there?
No, you can't. And that's one of the reasons why I quit smoking, because it was just so loud lighting the damn things. ER cost. Tony, the flaming garage collapse in London was a diesel, not an EV. I never said that it was an EV that started it, although I do not believe that it was a diesel, because diesels don't just spontaneously combust like that. Regardless of what vehicle started it, the one that burned its way through the floor or through the ceiling was definitely not a diesel. There's no way that was a diesel.
Haven't seen that.
So this happened last night.
Oh,
in London.
It
was an airport parking garage. 1,200 cars burned up.
Yeah. No, I did hear about that.
Okay. So one of the videos that's out there, right, is so now the fire is on the top floor. Okay, the top floor. So naturally, all the heat is going up, which means that the lower floors should be safe.
Right.
Okay. So on the lower floor, there's a surveillance camera. Okay, and it shows just the normal garage,
right,
and then all of a sudden the ceiling collapses and this fireball
Really?
Yeah, so this thing burned its way through the roof and fell down to the next floor.
Good Lord.
So it is utterly and completely impossible for a gasoline or a diesel or hydrogen, anything, to burn that hot in a downward direction, whereas an EV battery going off burns in all directions. So the EV battery lit off for whatever reason, thermal runaway, and it torched through the floor, and the vehicle fell through.
Good grief. Think that'll be a total loss?
Probably. I don't think it'll buff out.
They still use the 9 1/4s and the 1500 Rams to this day, Tony. What he's saying there?
Oh, Ari, Tony, please don't use science. Well, go back. Please don't use science when talking about structural damage from flames and explosions. The government hates that. No, the government more than proved that the kerosene that was in those jet planes melted the steel beams. I have no question that that's what happened.
Wild Bill, was it built with the concrete they used shortly after World War II? Bad concrete. Yeah, don't know.
Justin Billington, Tony, I feel they have framed the diesel car to put a mark against the electric cars that were ramming down our throat over here in the UK. Gee, Justin, you think that's what happened? I'm not trying to be a dick to you, but seriously, do you think? Of course, that's what happened.
6,000 degree chemical fires are good for the environment. Exactly.
Oliver's saying, I suppose you could do it with a VW Rabbit carrying a can of thermite. Yes, it looked like that. That's exactly what it was. It was like thermite coming through the roof of the building.
Oh, stray bullet. Diesel brought down the Twin Towers. Yeah, that's possibly a little slightly oversimplified, but
What was that now?
Diesel brought down the Twin Towers.
Well, jet fuel. Jet fuel is diesel.
Mm.
You know, jet fuel sounds pretty impressive. You know, jet fuel.
Yeah.
No, it's kerosene.
Yeah.
So yeah, kerosene melted the steel beams and everything fell down. Building 7 was loaded with kerosene too, obviously.
Hemi Cooter talked to Mercedes-Benz that burnt down the Fremantle Highway with their freaking electric cars. Oh, Barry Cooter, Kiwi, electric cars on the Inter-Islander ferry would be a worry. Yes, it would. Yes. Yeah, I wonder if they've got any rules about that.
Justin S., do I need special plug wires for a magneto? Yes. Use solid core wires. Absolutely use solid core wires.
Jay Weiss asked for gas in Australia and the guy gave him a barbecue bottle.
Bobby,
I said, I need fuel. He said, that is petrol. Ha ha. Yes, it's petrol.
Bobby C didn't melt them, just get steel red hot and it bends. Oh yeah, no question. So Bobby, I tell you what, get a bucket of kerosene, okay, light it and lay a steel bar across the top of it. Take a big wrench, just take a wrench, okay, and lay it across a burning bucket of kerosene, and call me when the wrench turns even the slightest bit red.
Conspiracy theory there a little bit, are we, on the Twin Towers?
Well, it's not conspiracy. It actually happened.
Well, yes, it did happen. Yeah. Jet fuel is kerosene with additives to keep it from turning into jelly at high altitudes, right?
Right. It's kerosene. It's kerosene.
Is there a noticeable difference in rebuilding a Carter AVS as opposed to an AFB?
Nope.
Nope.
Functionally the same, exactly the same inside.
Aaron Erickson, is it necessary to adjust ignition timing after a timing belt or chain replacement?
You should check it. You should check it.
Hmm.
It's kind of like standard operating procedure. After you do anything like that, you always whip out the timing light.
Ari, I forgot Sundays are for conspiracies, my bad.
Obviously, the chimney effect from the elevator shafts worked like a blower on a blacksmith forge. Dude, I'm not going to waste my time with this. I'm not going to listen. I was there. Okay, I mean, like we're talking about.
Oh, you were in New York at that
time? When I moved to Tennessee, I literally brought chunks of steel from the World Trade Center down here with me. I can't tell you how many friends I had that were first responders that were taking souvenirs and whatnot. And I ended up with a couple of pieces. One of them the last one, I just gave it away. I didn't want to have it around me anymore. Listen, that was my neck of the woods. The people that were working that scene and everything, I knew, please, no, trust me when I tell you. Trust me when I tell you, kerosene did not take those buildings down. Okay, where are we here now?
Pacific Northwest Hillbilly was on a ferry full of Teslas a few weeks ago. No rules about it because the inevitable hasn't happened yet. Had to shut the propane off in my trailer though. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I need a diesel Range Rover. I'll stick with my XJs.
Okay, what's going on?
James Wag, first time catching the live show. Happy to be here. We are happy you're here. I told you he was going to be here.
You did. You did.
We talked about your coming a couple of weeks ago, actually. So thank you for finally showing up. Let's see.
Tesla was from Yugoslavia, the land of the Yugo. I know Yugoslavia was the land of the Yugo, but Tesla's from there.
He might have been.
Huh.
I know he had that accent. Hemikuda, YouTube is blocking you. Oh, no.
Huh.
And Zero has the same birth date as Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Zero could very well be Tesla reincarnated, right? You're about the same
Yeah.
age as when he died. I would not be surprised, brother man. I would not be surprised at all.
104 Speed Shop. We're going to find a distributor from a carbureted V6 3.9 without lean burn. Help, please. Good Lord. That's
I don't know.
3 point, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Elon Musk is from South Africa. That's what I was thinking. Sounds South African, too.
I wonder if you couldn't, because okay, so the 3.9 is 318 minus 2 cylinders. So I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't use a V8 distributor and just let's say fill the two empty. Figure out which ones are missing out of the firing order, because they didn't change the crank. It's not a staggered crank. It's two journals. You know, the two journals are next to each other. So it's a. I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't just drop a V8 distributor in there and block off the two posts that aren't being used. Either run a jumper wire from one end to the other, or fill them with silicone or something so moisture don't get in there. I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't do that. Look into that.
Mike Ray, I enjoy listening to over 50-year-old guys. LOL.
Nice.
Yeah,
We're way over 50.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, well, combined we're like 122.
That doesn't help, Tony. Doesn't make me feel better.
Well,
Just saying.
bro, wisdom comes with age.
Yeah.
People are like, well,
so
how
do
do
aches and freaking pains.
you don't have Jennifer the chiropractor?
Well, no.
Do you want to go there? Sure.
Where is she?
Right in Murfreesboro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Unity Chiropractic.
Mm.
I'm telling you.
Did a good job?
Yes, absolutely.
No, I'm good at the moment, but hey, my
Um,
back does come and go.
Where did the Golden Building 7 go? I don't know. Ask Donald Rumsfeld if he's still alive.
David Fernandez, if you had to make a Mad Max equipped car, what would it be? I would probably get like a 1970 Torino. Would be as close as you're going to get to the Falcon. But honestly, it's probably not, if I had to make one, it's probably not something I'd make by choice, to be honest.
I would just jump in my XJ right there.
Right. And just take to it with the chainsaw a bit, weld a few lumps of scrap iron on it, and go. I'll just leave it like it is.
Just drive it, yeah. It's
not even flat black it.
No, it's already black.
Well, it's true, yeah.
Just drive it.
Scuff it a bit, or just let it get dirty.
It's fine. It'll go places those other people can't, so you don't have to worry about them.
104 Speed Shop. Thank you, guys. I will try that. Made my day. There you go.
Okay.
Bit of thank you there for you, Tony.
I don't even know what the question was.
That was the distributor one.
Oh, okay, right.
Maybe the V6 Cat would fit the small block.
That's possible too.
Right.
No, but then you end up with the lean burn or the computer control one. He's just trying to get a regular distributor in there.
Tony, do you know anything about Barney Navarro's Rambler 6 Turbo Indy motor?
Not very much. Not very much. I mean, I know of it, but I don't know any of the details. I know it was one of the aluminum head motors. That's as far as I know. Kiwi knows all about it. He was actually a Barney Navarro historian back in the old country. You get your Barney Navarro posters and your Barney Navarro bobblehead in the back of your. So give him all of the specifics there.
I know nothing.
He's just playing with you. He knows.
It costs 60. Is Kiwi Batman? Is he Batman? I've never seen
them
together.
Never seen him with, yeah.
Never seen
Same
him
time,
together.
never.
No, you never know. You never know. You guys should team up and do a quarter-mile budget car build, capped cap bill
Maury,
against some competition.
Maury, where are my Barney Navarro pajamas? I could hear that.
What the hell's in those things you're smoking tonight?
Not much.
Not much. You torched most of it. Time you lit it, it's half gone.
Well, since I quit smoking, I don't really light them as efficiently as I used to. I was good at lighting the damn things.
I have a lot to put up with, guys. I really do. Ari, geez, you put a bit of thought into that one. Ari wishes he was smart enough to use AI to do Ricardo Montalban's voice to do a commercial about his truck. Okay.
The formula, quarter mile racing is for people who don't like to get jiggy with it. Yes, I agree. I've become an 8th mile convert. I never want to see another quarter mile for the rest of my friggin' life. Yeah, you're exactly right. Quarter mile is for people who just want to sit there and go, ah, and listen to their cars unscrew themselves, right? 8th mile guys, yeah, that's where your wild men are. Absolutely.
Real racing, you go left and right, I have to say.
Well, yeah, after you got to get to the shutdown area, you make your left or your right to get down to the pit road, and it almost guaranteed, because I know I've done it
And
myself,
with a bit of luck,
you'll have to make lefts and right to get back to your pits.
Right.
No,
Perhaps they should keep the clock running until you get back to the pits, and then see who's fastest doing that.
Now, honestly, that would be an interesting combination. That would be an interesting thing. How long can you make a run, service the car, and get back? Hot lapping it. That can actually be a pretty cool competition. Think about that. Dickie Farley, you guys should try to do a live or something tomorrow. Are you kidding me? He won't talk to me for like days after we do this. There's just no way. It takes him a week to calm down enough to talk to me again to come and do these.
Jay Weiss, mate, that Bathurst was last weekend, and guess who won? Who wants to know who won Bathurst, the premier road course track in the world, the best motor race in the world, Bathurst?
Okay.
Guess who won it? Kiwi called Shane Van Gisbergen.
Shane Van Gisbergen?
Van Gisbergen.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He's coming to NASCAR next year. He's coming there to show the Americans how it's done.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Shane Van Gisbergen do.
Van Gisbergen.
Yes.
Yeah, I know his dad. I know his dad quite well. I knew him when he was 3.5 foot tall.
Rob Morris, 8th mile is for girls to practice for real racing like Daddy does on the quarter mile. Dude, I tell you what, right? Go to one of these no prep races, all right? Go to one of these back half races. Go take a trip out to War in the Woods, all right? And then go tell those motherfuckers how 8th mile racing is silly, right? Yeah, no, sorry, bro. It's the other way around. Quarter mile racing is silly. 8th mile is where the action is.
Tony, do you know about the Chrysler Hemi with double sets of intake stacks?
Not offhand.
Right. So as in 16 stacks? Is that what you mean?
I guess. I've never seen such a thing.
No.
Not saying it doesn't exist. I've just never seen it.
Carvo, he might as well go to NASCAR. Bathurst has just about become that on the mountain.
I don't know what a Bathurst is.
Well, but it's the name of a place. Bathurst is a town, and the race course is at Bathurst.
No, I gathered that much, but
right,
I don't know what they actually do there.
It's
like a road racing thing.
It's a road race thing. It's 6 kilometers. So it's about a 4-mile lap.
Okay.
And it's very steep up and it's very steep down.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It's an awesome track. It's
an
absolutely awesome track. There's quite a bit of footage of it on YouTube if you guys like, some door slamming racing cars.
Let's see.
Have you seen video of the L vapor blowing off a garage door? EV vapor. The old EV vapor blowing off a garage door and nearly killing a fireman. No,
I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Charger. Hey, Tony, been watching for a couple of months. Loving it. Thank you, sir. Just wondering, what is your dream car? Mine is a 68, 69 Charger. Anyways, love from North Carolina. I have my, we were just talking about that. My first car was a 69 Charger. I don't really have a dream car. If I like, it changed for me. It changes like literally every day, hour to hour. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love them all. So, and it's not just Mopars. Like literally, I see GTOs. I see, Volks. I see Carmen Gias. I just fall in love with everything. Right? You had that Falcon van at your place, that
Right.
blue
Yeah. Yeah.
Falcon van, and I was like, oh my god, I love this thing. So it's like, yeah, I don't have a favorite. I love them all. I love them all.
Now they're talking about Bathurst. Ari loves the V8 supercars, the Aussie V8 supercars. Tara saying started out a production car race, very much a manufacturer advertising race. Now purpose-built race frames with bodies that look something like the car they represent. They've definitely followed the NASCAR recipe, for these one chassis for everybody, and then you just dress a different fiberglass body on it. For a while there in Aussie supercars, they were running Volvos and Nissans, front engine, rear drive V8s.
You mean Nissans?
Nissans.
Yeah.
No, Nissan.
No, Nissan. Nissan.
Neither of those cars had a V8 rear wheel drive, any of that, but they just basically hung the badges on. And it did start to lose a little bit of its gloss at that point, I have to agree.
Oh, yeah.
Hit the blue button.
Pintos are awesome. Yes, they are.
Mike Salinas just ran 300 mile an hour in the 8th.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
I saw that. Let's see. Eric Squad, can you run 6,000th main bearing clearance? Well, yes, Mike Salinas has 6,000th main bearing clearance in his 300 mile an hour, 8th mile top fuel car. That's what they run, between 5 and 6,000ths of an inch main bearing clearance.
Bloodnose was Datsun before it was Nissan. That's very true.
That's true.
It was.
How did you pronounce that?
Nissan.
No, the other one.
Datsun.
Datsun.
There's no R in it.
Datsun.
D-A-T. Dat.
Datsun. Nissan.
There's no R. There's not D-A-R-T. It's not Datsun. We're not playing lawn darts. You can't run 300 mile an hour in 8. It's impossible. Well, no,
been done.
It's just been done.
Yep.
Admittedly, but yeah, no, it's happened. Sammy Miller ran the 8th in 1.6 seconds at 319 mile an hour.
That's right, certainly did.
Would he have actually?
That was in a hydrogen peroxide rocket.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to see that acceleration, would you?
So now I knew Sammy.
Right.
Not well, we weren't good friends, but I knew Sammy because
right.
we were in the same world as each other. So he was an acquaintance. But I was there. I remember the first time I saw him run. I had the Vanishing Point car, and I was a kid. I was probably like 15, 16 years old, and I will never forget it because they rolled the car out. Okay, it was dead quiet. We had never seen anything like this before. It was during a funny car race, and it was all chaos and everything when that happened. So they roll this thing out. It's dead quiet, and they had a guy. You ever see like the surveying equipment they use? When they're going to survey things. Well, they pushed the car almost to the starting line, and they had a guy get out there with surveying equipment, and they lined up the car. And it was this whole ritual that took like, probably 5 or 6 minutes for them to get the car. It was exactly lined up. Right? So they get it lined up. They push it to the starting line. They had taken the Christmas tree out, because. And Berserko Bob was the announcer that night, and he was like, "Okay, so everybody's going to count down from 10, right? So the audience,
like
the crowd starts count. Yeah. So we get to 0, right? And then this thing is okay. So it's called Vanishing Point, right? And the thing actually created an optical illusion. I'm sitting here now 40 years later, and I remember this like it was this morning. Okay, and it's like you see the car, it's here. Then you see the car here. Then you see the car here. Then the car is gone, and then you hear the sound, right? Because the cars are, and like the fucking stands, it made a sonic boom.
Right.
It didn't go 700 and whatever it was miles an hour, But what it did was it accelerated at the rate of what a sonic boom would be.
Oh, okay.
And so there was just this massive concussion that went
Hmm.
with the car. Just the most amazing thing. So the reason why they had to set it up with the surveyor's thing is because they put enough fuel in it to go underpowered like 200 feet, and the rest of the time it's coasting.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it's for a quarter mile. They went 200 or 300 feet, so they had to line it up because when Sammy threw the switch, he'd black out.
Right.
The G forces would just black him out, and the chute was on a timer. The chute was on like a 4-second timer, so that he'd throw the lever, get thrown back, black out. The chute would come out. When the chute would come out, his blood would go back to his brain, and he'd come up. He'd come around just in the craziest thing. Slammin' Sammy Miller was the drag racing god. He was it. I don't care what anybody
So he
says.
was
You can't-
literally just along for the ride.
he was just
He
along
was
for the
not-
ride.
He was not really the driver
But
of the vehicle.
the thing is, if you knew him, he was the most mild mannered, like easygoing. So like you could never put what he did with him together. You know what I'm saying?
Someone's fucking around there.
Yeah,
Hey, I don't want to disrupt your video there.
that's okay.
I'm gonna let you know I'm spraying during the day.
Okay.
So if you, I don't know if these vehicles are mobile. If you ever move them, I can spray it or back behind them. It's
Sorry,
no big
guys.
deal.
Which ones?
The van, I think you're.
You're getting burgled. It
spraying
could
on
well
this
be,
one
yeah.
over there.
Okay, the van I'm gonna have some trouble getting. So
Yep, we do have a
If
visitor.
It's too much. Don't worry about it.
that one I can tomorrow. I'll just pull it off onto the grass.
So the anything's ready, just I can get to it later on. Yeah.
Okay.
If you had no sense of concept, but it's all.
Okay,
Up now. Thank you guys. Sorry.
no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, Tony. Oh, did you finish your story?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. Tony couldn't mix and match slant 6 and small block distributor components to make a 3.9 distributor.
Well, actually, yeah, you could, Cart. That's great thinking. He's exactly right. He's exactly right. So you need the bottom half of a 318 distributor, and you need the top half, like where where the weights are, and the breaker plate. You need all that from a slant 6. So you're going to take the bottom half of a 318, the top half of a slant 6, put that together. The cap is the same diameter. So slant 6 and 318. So you swap that right back and forth. But yeah, brilliant. Who said that? Who?
Cart 70.
Cart 70. Cart 70. Brilliant. It never even crossed my mind. Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, I've noticed they're talking about spray painting. They're wanting to spray paint the car park outside Tony's place because he's done
They're
so many,
cleaning
so
the-
many burnouts.
They're,
Up there
they're covering over my
they've got-
burnout marks out there.
Looks like a tire test facility.
Hmm.
David Fernandez, what do they look for when trying to pass tech in races?
It just depends. What race are you going to? How tight is
Yeah,
the tech?
what class, what type of car, what type of racing?
Yeah.
That's a little too open a question. Give us more details, we'll have at it.
So as a rule of thumb, if you go to like a backwoods unsanctioned track, no sanction, they deliberately don't look at the car. Because if they look at the car and something happens, they're liable for it. So instead they'll make you just sign a waiver and it's like you put the ticket, you take the ride. And that's common at a lot of backwoods unsanctioned tracks. So you won't find any tech there at all, which is not good, but it's the way it is. I'm just telling you the way it is. It's up to you to tech your own car and make it safe. And the rest of it is just depends on the type of racing that you're doing and the type of track, what their sanction is, and how well they stick to the rules.
Tony, what is the story behind your helmet?
Which helmet?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have many helmets. No, I don't know which.
392 Hemi, it's modern, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's true. They do call it a 392, don't they? Someone else was commenting that most engines now are measured in metric. 4 litre, 5 litre.
Which is so silly. I know. I hate doing
4.4
that.
or
I feel
whatever.
gay every time I gotta do that.
Joe K, unless you're selling Girl Scout cookies or delivering DoorDash food, go away. Yeah, I agree. Second time we've had someone wander in halfway through it.
Yeah.
You're just such a popular guy.
Yeah, you can't keep them away.
No. Jay Weiss, race what you bring and hope what you bring is good enough. That's, yeah.
Justin Billington. Okay, Tony, I just want to say when Sammy was banned by the NHRA and he came to Europe, he wasn't banned by the NHRA. He was banned by the government. He couldn't buy hydrogen peroxide anymore. Because Sammy used to literally he just bounced down the highway with these containers of hydrogen peroxide. Because Sammy was nuts. He was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, right? But he was nuts. So it was the government that banned the private sale of hydrogen peroxide because of Sammy. It had nothing to do with the NHRA. So let's see, became best friends with my dad and was like an uncle to me when I was younger before he passed. So am I exaggerating even a little bit? Was he the nicest guy you'd ever wanted? Just mild mannered, easygoing, but he's a wild man. He was a freaking wild man. And the way, so for the people who don't know how he died, okay, this is okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm paying attention.
So he becomes, because of this thing, his experience with hydrogen peroxide rockets, he becomes a recognized authority on hydrogen peroxide rockets. Okay. So he gets together, he has a business partner, and they concoct this idea to take a giant hydrogen peroxide rocket, this is for oil wells to stop producing, okay, to build a giant hydrogen peroxide rocket and point it into the ground to blow out the oil on the other side. Seriously. Okay.
Good grief.
Yeah. So they build this giant hydrogen peroxide rocket, and they point it into the ground to blow oil out of the and done.
That was him done.
Done.
Oh really?
Rest in peace.
Oh
Yes.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't quite go to plan then, did it?
I don't believe they found enough of him to actually bury.
See, it makes bungee jumping pretty tame, really, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Sammy was out there, man. Sammy was out there.
Now, the guy who asked about your helmet he said it was the hockey helmet you wore on the school bus or something. What? Okay. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Justin Billington, yes, the nicest guy, but wild, haha, the best way.
Yep. Yeah. No, he was. He's the unsung hero of acceleration. You know, people are like, oh, you know, Don Garlitz and those. Yeah, lots of people accomplished lots of things, but Sammy just took it to like another level.
Barry Cooder, Tony, any thoughts on the failures of the 305 Mopar engines in the 70 Trans Am series Cooters? They kept on blowing up. They made a 305 Mopar?
Yes.
Was that a 5-liter thing, was it?
Yes, exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was a D-stroke 340.
Oh, okay.
And I offhand, I don't know. I don't know what the failure point was on those things. So Sammy decided to build a rocket car. So the rumor has it that Sammy decided to build a rocket car after his second bad fire in a regular funny car. And rumor has it that he had particularly heinous injuries. Yeah, right. and that's when he says, you know what, I'm just going to build a rocket car.
Yeah. Interesting life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's taking fracking to a whole new level.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
There you go. I like Uncle Kiwi's croissants and catnip channel.
Oh, the helmet liner pulled out. Oh, that was.
You got it now?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good story.
It was the dumbest
fucking
thing I've ever done. I'm sorry.
That's saying something.
No,
that's saying something.
That really was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Well, you're going to enlighten me now.
You really have to tell the story?
Well, no, you don't have to. Yeah. Well, I thought we shared most things, don't we?
We don't share that much. Short version. I built my first fuel altered in my garage at my house
Mhm.
in New York. Okay,
Right.
gas welded it altogether.
Right.
Chromoly tubing. And,
Yep.
and I wanted the car to have this really low profile. I like the fuel alters that have really low profile, right? So I built this thing. I wanted it. I had a 23 T bucket body, right? And I wanted the lowest roll cage I could get. Okay. So as I'm building the car, putting the seat in and positioning and everything, right? I would keep getting in and out of the car to position it. So, you halfway through, you get in and you say, okay, I want the bars here, and okay, I got it here. Okay, if I put it down like this, I get the seat, I got the rear end over here, I can move the seat up a little bit. You know what I mean? And I kept positioning it so that kept getting it lower and lower and lower. And I got to show you pictures of this car. It was fucking bitching. Wait, I can show you a picture of it. So I'll show you a picture of it in a second after I tell the story. So I had tried the car on the whole time that I was building it. Now it's time to take it to the track.
Right.
So it was the first time now I had never driven anything even remotely like this, right?
Yeah.
Just driven street cars. So now I got this blown nitro altered, blown fuel altered, right? So we
I
take it,
guess you had no room to wear the helmet.
we go to the track, we go to Atco. It's a Friday night. It's 28 degrees out. We used to race in the winter back then.
Right.
It's 28 degrees on a Friday night.
That's
We
true.
roll up to Atco
Nice
and
air
we're going to run this
density.
car.
Nice air density.
So we warm it up, do everything else, right? Put it on the ground. I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to try to make a lap on this thing. So I put my fire suit on, and I sat down in the car, and realized that I didn't fit. I couldn't get my head. Wait, I'm combining stories. The 28 degrees Friday night was the first time I took it out. The second time is when I ripped the padding out. So the first time I ran it was that Friday night, and all I did was I did a burnout. I did touch it. I did a burnout, staged the car, hit the throttle, went blind. Couldn't see anything, right? I take my foot off the throttle, and now I could see. I hit the throttle again, which is a bad thing to do when you're rolling along at about 40 miles an hour in a fuel car, okay? So this thing goes like crazy, and I'm like, whoa, right? And I take my foot off the throttle, and then I could see again. And then I hit it again, and I go blind again, okay? All right, so
at this point, you're a bit scared.
yeah, it takes a lot to scare me. I'm scared, right? But we're gonna
I'm
keep
going
soldiering
blind.
on. So I make my appointment because I want to get my IHRA nitro license. So I needed 2 licensed drivers to witness 3 passes. Okay, so we go back to ATCO, and same thing now, right? Because I had to do a lot of work on the car to get the car back, but I never really thought too much about I can't see. I don't fit in the car and I can't see.
Who needs to see?
I was a little nutty back then.
As opposed to now.
I was a little nutty back then. So I get in the car to go make my first pass, right? And I do the burnout. I can't see when I'm doing a burnout. All right, fuck, what am I gonna do, right? So I stage the car. I only have to go 60 feet for the first pass, right? They just want to see you launch the car. So I say there, do the burnout, back it up, launch the car, and I coast. Now I got to drive it the next pass. I got to drive it to the 8th mile. So I says I have to do something about this because I can't fucking see. And if I got to try to drive this thing to the 8th mile, I got to be able to see what I'm doing, right?
Salmon Slammy didn't have to.
Sammy didn't give a shit. He was okay.
He wasn't trying to get his license.
He wasn't trying to get his license.
Yeah,
He was already
fair
way
enough,
past
fair
that.
enough.
So I got people servicing the car, changing the oil and the plugs and the clutch and all that other stuff. And I'm looking around like, what can I do so I can actually get this roll cage off my head? So I ripped the padding off the seat. It had like fireproof pad. So I ripped that off the seat. And I got back in the car and it didn't make any difference. So then I started to jump up and down on the seat. It was an aluminum seat. And it actually started to bend around the drive shaft. Right? That's how low I had the seat, right? But now the drive shaft is rubbing against the seat. And I'm like, I don't care, right? We're gonna run this thing no matter what. Get in the car, I still can't see. It's a little bit better. So finally, I looked at my helmet and I'm like, there's all this padding in the helmet. I'm not going to crash this car. I don't need that padding. So I reached in and I scooped out all of the padding. So now I just had fiberglass and
A
styrofoam.
fiberglass kind of bucket on your head.
Yeah, styrofoam bucket on my head. So I put the helmet on and I get back in the car and now it's not touching anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll be able to see. Okay. So I was like, I got to make this one count.
This is not going to end well, is it?
And I didn't bring any alcohol with me. So it's on 100% nitro.
You should have. Oh, okay. That's
Right?
good alcohol. Yeah.
65 degrees in the mag. The blow is 38 over, right? I got 100% in the tank. It just set on kill. And I had a Star Wars tune-up in the car, the 430 gear, and a 2-speed.
A Star Wars tune-up?
That's what it was called. It's called a Star Wars tune-up.
There you
so I had a 430 gear and a 2-speed in the car. I forget what percentage the 2-speed was, but this thing was set on kill. So I was like, I'm getting to the other end no matter what, or I'm going to get to the 8th mile in the power no matter what. So stand on it, okay, and I can see the finish line. I see the finish line coming up, and all of a sudden the world starts going like this: bang, 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 bang. Okay, so yeah, right. It was exactly. I swear to God, it was exactly the same as if I took like a plank and
Yeah.
just started bashing you on the forehead with it.
Oh, good lord.
The, the, the car went into tire shake.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't expecting that, so it was beating my head without any padding against the roll cage, which had no padding because I had to take
That
that off too.
explains a lot, guys.
Oh, please! It was ridiculous. I had brain damage.
You think?
For months, bro. Like for weeks, I had splitting headaches. Like I was like just crazy headaches. But so help me. There's the truth. If Kathy's watching, she'll back me up. So my neighbors and my customers, because I worked on cars, I fixed cars. They didn't know I did anything like this, right?
No.
They just figured I was, a mechanic. Okay, they didn't know I
Sounds
was
like you didn't know you did it for a
doing
couple of
drag
weeks
racing stuff.
afterwards.
Well, a group of them got together and tried to have what do we call it?
Intervention?
An intervention. They thought I was either drinking or on drugs because I couldn't walk straight. My help me. Like for 2 or 3 months, I couldn't move from like if I was to try to walk from here to the Jeep, it was like this.
Like you'd been drinking.
I had no equilibrium at all. I would just fall over. It was bad. It was really bad. It took probably 5 or 6 months before I actually came all the way back.
And the jury's still out on that one.
I'm, Jesus. I was a little nutty back then. I'm not like that anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, gosh, I hope you guys haven't been spending too much time typing questions because we ain't been reading. We've been listening
Did,
to the.
did I answer the helmet question sufficiently for you?
What? What I'm interested in, that was the short version?
That's
What
the
was
short
long
version. There's a lot more
like?
to it. There's a lot more to it,
The long
including.
version must be something else.
Oh, please, yeah, no.
Vertigo from your inner ear probably being turned to mush. Probably.
I was the scourge of great kills.
Thanks, Zero.
That's how my neighbors called me. Justin, Tony, did you ever see the green 80s Camaro Sammy put this? Yep, Sammy had, oh, Kathy's saying I try to forget. Sammy had an IROC Camaro, right? Dead stock car, 305, and he ran like a 7-something, quarter-mile time. It was a dead stock 305 Camaro, and he had a hydrogen peroxide rocket in the trunk. And he was just driving around. It was just his driver, but it was a 7-second quarter-mile car.
Good Lord. Dean Stevenson, what is this? Mrs. Kiwi glasses and crumpets says she doesn't want no pollies in the chat. So could you or Uncle Kathy please tie me out while I give you a reprimand for Mrs. Kiwi? We Kiwis have to make a whole fruit. I'm not sure what language you're talking, Dean.
He knows.
I'm at a loss.
And Mrs. Kiwi knows. That's all it counts.
Well, yeah.
Killer of peace. That explains everything.
Mrs. Kiwi
it explains a lot.
Mrs. Kiwi sent a message while we were talking about how to pronounce Nissan and Datsun. You know what a WRX is?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Subaru.
Subaru.
Subaru? That's
Subaru.
a hot dog, isn't it?
It's a Subaru.
No, it's a Subaru. Remember, we won the war. We get to say how stuff is pronounced.
Oh, yeah, not the Japanese, I guess, huh?
Tony's Customs and Concussions.
Yeah.
Listen to me, it was bad. That was really, really bad.
Blood knows. How do you say Yokohama? Yokohama.
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 See, we agree on
We
something.
agree on
That's
it.
why there will be world peace eventually. Dickie Farley, Tony, can you explain that car you was just talking about, the process of the hydrogen peroxide thing in the trunk? Do you know how it works or the process on a 3F? Yeah. Okay, so the hydrogen peroxide uses a silver nickel screen. Okay, so it's a canister, it's a titanium canister with a silver nickel screen, and the screen is expendable. Okay, it burns up. The hydrogen peroxide, when the hydrogen peroxide meets the silver nickel, it creates the most violent chemical reaction known to man. It makes like stupid, crazy, instant, and the rocket, the rocket part of it just points it where you want it to go. The thrust was like off the chain. I forget how many pounds it was. You could Google it and find out. But it's silver nickel and hydrogen peroxide, and it's the chemical reaction between those two things that sends it. Now you got to understand something about the hydrogen peroxide that was being used back then. So this is pure hydrogen peroxide, like the hydrogen peroxide that you get from like let's say you go to the drugstore and you buy a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. That's like 0.3%. It's like some ridiculously small percentage. It's barely hydrogen peroxide. Pure hydrogen peroxide, the stuff that Sammy was using, if you pour it on concrete, the concrete bursts into flames. Okay, it's ridiculously
Wow.
potent stuff. And he was buying his shit and just throwing it in his trailer and bouncing down the highway with it. And that's when the government says, no, because Sammy wasn't the only one. There were a few people running around with hydrogen peroxide cars at the time. And the government was like, no, you guys just cannot be hauling this stuff around. I'm not big on government interventions on things, but it was a good idea. It was a good idea.
Dean Stevenson. Tavo, I'm understanding the price on Vegemite and setting up my own clandestine lab in Dunedin. Get ready for chaos.
That's what I was afraid of. Dean Stevenson is clearly the Antichrist.
I don't know, but he's been smoking or drinking some good shit tonight. I know that.
I think he's the Antichrist.
Yeah. Have you seen the time?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, wow. And look, we only got 184 likes. You only got
I only got
184 likes.
184 likes. Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I thought I was modestly funny tonight.
You were
Made
hysterical,
fun of
bro.
you a
You
little
couldn't
bit.
stop me. I couldn't stop laughing.
Tavo, he's from New Zealand. Say no more. Well, I had my suspicions. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Let's get that
Mostly into
out of here.
inhalants.
All right. I want to go play with my puppy.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes. I don't
All
have a puppy to go and play with.
So I'm sorry if I ran off the rails telling a story. That happens sometimes. What are you gonna do, right? So everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank
Everybody
you.
contributed just at your presence and your conversation. We thank you equally. Our awesome, incredible mods, Ari, Fubar, Zero. Guys, thank you so much, as always. Kiwi, go subscribe immediately. Don't waste another minute of your life. Go over there and subscribe to Kiwi's thing. He may even put a video out this month before the end of this month is out. I think that, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I promise I'll put up a video tomorrow. I've got
Yes.
it there and I've just got to make a thumbnail for it and it's done.
He may do that.
And then over the weekend I'm trying to get the part 2 of that Cougar rear suspension. That's all in the can. I've just got to stitch it together and put that out.
Kiwi does talk a good game, so it is a possibility that this might happen. So go over there and sub, or you'll miss it. You blink and you miss it.
But I need to employ an editor.
Ooh.
That's what I need.
Why can't Maury edit for you?
Oh, she works a lot already. She could do it.
Yeah, of course she could. Like she's clearly capable. She could do anything.
Exactly.
I'm afraid of her for that.
I'm afraid of her, but not for that.
She has an intimidating aura, you know?
Yes.
No
nonsense.
Yes.
But no, it's just the time to edit it together is what's kind of. I get home.
So don't edit it, man. Just send it.
Send it.
Just send it.
Yeah, but a lot of the videos are in like 10 pieces, so it's still got to be glued together.
You can glue them together.
Yeah, no, I can. It just takes a little while.
Mopar Al makes videos. If he can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, I haven't got an argument for that one.
There you go. All right. So, guys, that's it. Sunday night we'll have our usual thing, and you won't. So this is gonna be the. God, I can't fucking think. It's that brain damage. It's
It's
the
the brain
fuel
damage,
altered
yeah.
brain damage.
Yeah.
I really have no business being around fast cars. Honestly, guys, I swear to God, I do not belong around fast cars, and that's why I stay away from. One of the reasons I just stay away from really fast cars. I'm not responsible enough. Don't do as I do. A man needs to know his limitations.
Well, it's true.
Yes. So, at any rate, that's it. We'll see you guys next Wednesday because it's going to
Next
be a new
Wednesday.
time, right? Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. No more Thursday night. Now it's going to be Wednesday night, 7
Same
o'clock.
place, different time.
Yes.
Mm.
All right. So that's it, guys. We're out of here.
All right. See you guys. Thanks a lot.
That's all.
Hope you enjoyed it.
That's it. I
That's
just
it?
did all of that.
You
I
did.
just did all of that talking, wrapping this thing up.
I just like disappear into the shadows while your awesomeness does all the wrap up.
You couldn't come up with something like profound?
No. I
I don't
was
even. I
out
don't,
partying last night till like what 12:30, so I'm a bit struggling tonight.
I don't even know why I try. I
See
don't
you
even know
guys.
why I try.